In this tutorial, I will be showing you how you can install and configure an Arch Linux Distrobox. Now, there may be several reasons as to why you might want to do this. Let's say, just as an example, you're running Rocky Linux and found out that even though you've enabled the CRB, EPEL, and RPM Fusion free and non-free repositories, you still somehow have nothing in the repositories. Notice that, yep. Just as an example, so this tutorial assumes you already have Distrobox installed, because depending on the distribution you're running, the command will be different. So on Fedora or RHEL-based distros, the command will be sudo dnf install Distrobox, but on Ubuntu and Debian-based distributions, it would be sudo apt install. On Arch, it would be sudo pacman-s. On OpenSUSE, it would be sudo zipper install. Assuming you already have Distrobox installed, the way we go about creating it is we take and run this command right here. And what this will do is it will grab Arch Linux from Docker and create a Distrobox for it. Now, if you've ever tried to create an Arch Linux Distrobox container, you will know that some things don't work right out of the box. You may have noticed that it will not have the multilib repository by default, and if you've tried to install the AUR, or the Arch User Repository, inside of an Arch Distrobox, you will probably have run into problems. Now that we're in our Arch Distrobox, we're going to go ahead and do an update. And an upgrade. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install a text editor. You can use Nano, but I'm going to use Vim. Now that that's done, we're going to enable the multilib repository. We're going to cd into etc. We're going to do an ls. And now we're going to use our text editor, in my case Vim, to edit pacman.conf. And now we're just going to take this from the Arch Linux wiki. We're going to paste this right in here. It would help if you ran the command as sudo. And just save and close that, and now do another update. And you can see we now have the multilib repository. And another upgrade. Now we need to install some programs in order to make it a more usable environment. We're going to install base devel, systemd, git, and go. Be sure to run that with the needed flag and hit yes. Alright, now we're going to git clone https:// and yes, you do have to put the full URL path, aur.archlinux.org/ea.git cd yay. Now we're going to do make pkg-si. And this is the part where you would normally encounter an issue, but we've already fixed those issues. Going to hit yes. I'm going to cd period and remove our FEA. And now we have an AUR helper installed. And to prove it, I'm going to install an AUR package. And we're going to hit yes. And we're going to hit yes. Now we have Brave browser installed, but you may notice that it is not listed under my applications. So to export that, we're going to run Distrobox export -a, and then we're just going to do Brave, and you can see that it has successfully exported. And there it is. And you can see that is installed successfully. But let's say you want to install and export a binary such as FFmpeg. For that, we'll first have to install FFmpeg. And now that that's installed, if we were to Distrobox export -b and try FFmpeg, you'll notice that it won't work. So what you want to do is you want to cd/bin and do an ls-l, and here in this list you can see FFmpeg is listed. So if we Distrobox export -b/bin/FFmpeg, you can see that it has successfully exported. If at this point you get an error, the solution is to open up your file browser and then show hidden files, go into .local, and you probably don't have a bin folder here if you're getting an error, so just right-click New Folder, create a folder by the name of bin, and then try exporting a binary, and it should work successfully. And just to prove to you that this did in fact work, if I open up a new terminal and I try to run FFmpeg, you can see that this does in fact work. But if I add the -d option to Distrobox export to remove it, and now I try and do an FFmpeg, you can see that it doesn't find it. But if I add it again, it works. Hope you found this helpful. See you next time.